right, so we can get started. I will do a couple of introductions, and then get into the content, and we will hopefully have some students from last summer join us toward the end, and we'll have plenty of time for questions as well. So my name is Jessica Fettridge. I work in the Global Learning Office. And I've worked with this program for 10 years, so excited to be here today. I will hand it over to my colleague, Carmen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carmen Hernandez, she, her pronouns, and I also work at the Global Learning Office, and I currently advise students that are interested in Spain, Portugal, and the Americas. Nice to meet everyone.
And then Elisa, why don't you introduce yourself and you can just get started on the presentation.
Okay. I am Elisa Baena. I teach in the Department of Spanish and Portuguese. I have been directing this program since 2008, which is a lot of years, 14 in person, and then the 2 of the pandemic that we couldn't do. So, hi, Raquin. I see some very old students that I've never met, still Zoom students. Okay, let's start with the content of the program, and then let's leave space for Kimberly, that I know she's already here, and hopefully other students will join her. Okay, what we require is a GPA of at least 2.5, 1 year of college level Spanish or the equivalent. So if you have placed, let's say, into 121.1 and you haven't done anything, you're good. If you have taken 101.3, you're good. If you have taken 115.2, you're good. If you have like AP 3, 4, 5, you're good, of course. For the application, we require a personal statement, a video response, and then your school advisor has to support your going to Barcelona, your transcript, and valid passport. And I cannot stress how important this is. If you are thinking about going, like 45% sure, apply right now if you don't have a passport, because last summer was super uber dramatic. So please apply today.
Agree. And I'll jump in from the study abroad side. As part of your application for the program, you have to provide proof that you have a valid passport or that you've applied for your passport. And a valid passport means that it will be valid for at least 1 year after you get back. So about 2 years from now, if your passport expires within that time at all, you should renew right now. And passport processing times are really, 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 really long, even if you expedite. So as Elisa said, even if you're 45% sure you might be interested, just submit your passport application over Thanksgiving or winter break and you'll be in good shape.
Okay. Oh, my dog is crying in the background. That's always very good. The language requirements, like I said, is 1 year of college level Spanish or the equivalent, because you will take all your classes in Spanish. And if you haven't taken Spanish this year or last and you still can, register for a class to refresh your Spanish, because we want you to learn as much as possible. This is one of the buildings inside of the university where all the classes will happen, and it's called Universitat Pompeu Fabra in the center of Barcelona, and is minutes away from your housing walking. Everybody will take 1 conversation class, 1 culture class, and 1 grammar class, and those are the names of the courses because they are Northwestern courses. And the class that you take will depend on your level and the classes that you have taken here. So here you will be registered for one of those classes, and then in Barcelona you will take like intermedio, avanzado. It doesn't matter, right? The names are not the same, but you will get the credit on CSAR for those classes. If you have taken below Spanish 201, you will take Spanish 190 as grammar. For culture is called 199, and conversation 191. If you have taken 201 or above, you will, for grammar, you will be registered for 301 or 302. So if you're doing the minor, that is a 300 level credit for the minor. The culture course will be 215, and the conversation course would be 202. And if you're doing the minor or the major, all those credits count as 200 or 300. So you will receive 3 credits for the minor. If you are doing the language requirement, let's say you have done 1013 or 115, then at the end of the program, provided that you fill all of those requirements, receive an A, miss 1 class or the allowed absences, go to all the cultural visits and improve in the post-placement that we do during the last week, and do an interview with me, then you can register for 125 in the fall. And with that 125, you will complete your language requirement. Oh, my dog stopped crying. Okay, this is Reza Campus del Mar is the dorm where we live. It's very, very close to the beach. Behind those trees, you can see the water. That's how close it is. And it's 10 minutes walking to campus, to the Pompeu Fabra University. It is in the center of Barcelona. Okay, those are pictures of the single rooms that most of you will have. And each room has its own kitchen and bathroom. And for this year, we will have 22 single rooms and 4 double rooms. In the dorm, there's a study room, a little gym, laundry, and I forgot, I didn't see the other one, but that's okay. The previous slide was a neighborhood that is around Barcelona, Barceloneta, but it's okay. The neighborhood that we want to pay attention to is Barceloneta. That is the neighborhood where we live. And it's very close to the beach, as you can see, and those tall buildings. The Born neighborhood, there is the picture on the left, and it's just very close to everything that Barcelona has to offer in the city center. That's Poblenou. That is a neighborhood that is very close by, has a nicer beach and lots of cafes and design and markets, and it's a very, very fancy neighborhood. Besides the Born, that is also very close to Barceloneta. As you might know, Barcelona has a lot of culture, history, and a very, very, very busy nightlife. There's a lot of things you can do during the day and during the night. So the Gothic neighborhood is another neighborhood that is very, very close to where we live. Gaudi architecture, and of course, lots of food to eat, and clubs to go to at night if you must. Once a week at least, we will do one of these excursions. Sagrada Familia, Casa Batlló, and some museums. And we'll go to Montjuïc, that is a mountain where there's a couple of museums and a castle where you can see the whole city from. And there's a picture of Las Ramblas. Maybe you've heard about that. So we'll do that, especially at the beginning, twice a week, then once, and then the last week we won't do anything. So you are free to do whatever you want to do. What else are we going to do? Sometimes you can get lucky and see that. I know last summer some students saw that. I couldn't find any organized performance, but in 2019 I was very lucky, and suddenly I saw that in the middle of the street, and that's amazing. And that just happens in Catalonia. One Wednesday during the first week of July, we will go to Montserrat, a monastery in the mountain. We'll take a train and then hike a little, and we will visit that monastery, and the views are amazing. And that day you won't have class. During the same week that we go to Montserrat on Friday, we take the high-speed train and we go to Madrid, and we stay in a hotel that is in the center of the city. And while we are there, of course, we have to go to more museums. So we will go to the Prado Museum and the Reina Sofia to see the famous Guernica. And the picture in the middle is of the Guernica by Picasso that is in Barcelona. So we'll go to the Picasso Museum afterwards. So that's the end of the summary that I have. The application deadline is February 1st. The program days, the day that you need to be in Barcelona is June 15th, and the day you need to leave is July 26th. If you are interested, like we said, make sure you apply or have a valid passport, complete the application, and read student evaluations because they have a lot of very helpful information. And I am done. Jessica.
All right. I mean, that's all we have in terms of formal presentation. We are happy to answer questions about the program, about the application process, about whatever. We also have a student who participated in the program last year, Kimberly. So she's here to talk about her experience and answer questions from the student perspective. Kimberly, if you want to unmute yourself and just introduce yourself, what year you are, what you're studying at Northwestern, just so folks can see you, and then we can take questions from anybody and to anybody.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Kimberly. I'm currently a senior right now studying neuroscience and minor Spanish. So that's why I gave myself the opportunity to go study abroad this last summer, and it was a great opportunity. So please ask questions. I also wore my school sweater today. So I'm like, yes, I love this. So please ask any questions. I'm here to help with anything. Or I guess I could give a little bit more of how I viewed it at the beginning, like doing my application and stuff. It was really excited, but then as the date was like approaching, I did get kind of nervous because I'm like, it's the other side of the world and it's a different like experience, you could say. But once being there and like, I didn't really know no one from the program except one girl, Kyla. But then once we all like 15 kids went from O'Hare to Spain together. So like we literally, as soon as we all saw each other, we were all excited and stuff. So we all became close friends. Once arriving to Spain, going to classes and stuff. In the beginning, I was really like scared for the classes just because Northwestern is really academically challenging. So I'm like, imagine studying abroad. So the classes are going to be the same. However, it was a different experience in classes. All the professors are there like wanting you to like learn as much as you can, but also like letting you enjoy and like the experience that you're there to do. But yeah, any questions that people have?
Good question. Yeah, so a couple questions in the chat just for those that aren't monitoring and for the recording. First question is there a Catalonian component to the language courses? No, all of the courses are in Spanish. Will you hear and see Catalan out and about in the city? Absolutely, but none of the classes have any Catalan in them. Another question about resources for applying for passports. We have a robust section on passports on our website. Carmen dropped that into the chat. It's on the GLOW website, northwestern.edu/abroad. So feel free to peruse that. Another question is, would this be instead of other study abroad opportunities, can you study abroad in the summer and also during a separate fall quarter, for example? Absolutely. If you can study abroad in the summer in a number of different terms. It can be slightly tricky if you try to do a consecutive summer and fall program. But we've had students do it occasionally. And we definitely have students who do this specific program who then go on to study abroad again, either in another Spanish speaking country, Spain again, or somewhere else entirely. So absolutely possible. If you are receiving a full tuition scholarship, does it also cover tuition for this program? It does, but I will defer to the financial aid office and tell you to schedule an appointment with our colleague, Krista Bethel. She can pull up your financial aid award and let you know exactly how it will apply to this program or any other program that you're interested in. How big will the cohort be? 30 students is our maximum, and generally the number of students that we take every summer. When will you hear back about results after applying in February? So the deadline is February 1st. We hope to have admissions decisions around the middle of February, so between February 15th and 20th. Can I put Krista's contact info in the chat? Yes, it's krista@northwestern.edu. Okay, question. How do you help students handle pickpocketing? I'm gonna defer that to Elisa and Kimberly because you all were there. I mean, it's always an issue, is what I will say.
Yeah, you just watch out. You have to be careful. If you don't pay attention, somebody is paying attention for you. So that's
Yeah, I do. For us, I know every time we would like want to go out, we would just be really particular with what we're carrying. We would always have obviously like a little fanny pack like around us at all times. Like I think all the time, everyone, whatever purse you had, like we would have it around each other. But also just being cautious, like where you're at, like when you're putting it back, like your fanny pack on the back or something, like just know how many people are around you. And like Elisa said, people are paying attention to what stuff you have, especially if they know that you're not from Barcelona. But usually we would have a fanny pack, and then usually when we would go out, usually a lot of people had like the little like wallets on the back of the phone that stick, and they would just carry their cards there, and that's the only thing that would carry, like their phone and their cards. But there's not a way to like avoid it because like it's so unexpected at times too, but just being careful.
Yeah, having zippered bags for sure,
Mhm.
not carrying things in pockets, not walking around with your phone out or, waving it around or really doing anything with your phone.
Mhm.
If you have an old phone that you can bring, that's even better, in case it does get lost or stolen. Never walk around with your passport. That is not necessary at all. And don't carry a lot of cash on you. That's also not necessary anymore. Almost everything is contactless now. So yeah, it's just really being vigilant about where you are in your surroundings. I will say, and I say this in pre-departure orientation every year we almost make it, and every year somebody gets something stolen. So 1 year will be the year that nobody does, but so far we're 0 for what, 13? 0 for 15, I guess.
Yeah.
So just be really, really careful, but it's really just a huge problem there. Another question is, did it say we need an A in all classes to receive the WCAS credit to take 125? The answer is yes. Okay, question, what makes a strong applicant? Elisa, you want to take it? You want me to answer?
You can answer.
Okay. I mean, so we're looking for a lot of things, right? It's a program that can accommodate students of varying language levels, as long as you have a minimum of 1 year or the equivalent of college level Spanish. So we're looking at Spanish level, and we have to balance the cohort. I mean, not balance even, but balance it enough so that there are enough students at the intermediate level as well as the advanced level. Elisa can't have all 30 students in her culture course. So that is something to take into consideration. There is both a personal statement and a video response, and those are heavily weighted in admissions decisions. Looking for seriousness of purpose, having really good academic and personal reasons for wanting to do the program. So really making sure that you've thought long and hard about how this program will benefit you academically, personally, professionally, all of that. And not just, I want to go to Barcelona over the summer, because who doesn't?
Right. I would say, sorry, that when I look at the applications, I want you to have done anything with Spanish, right? So you have never taken Spanish, for example, and you're not going to take Spanish. You don't have to take Spanish. You just want to have fun. There are other students that are doing, Spanish. So maybe you have to wait. or go to another program.
Yep. We'll also take into consideration year, right? We always have first year students, or I guess students who are rising sophomores participate. But a student who's a rising senior is going to have preference over a rising sophomore because it will be their last chance to go abroad. Similarly, students who have to go over the summer for any number of reasons, course sequences on campus, other commitments that prevent them from going during the academic year. So there's a whole range of things that make folks a strong applicant, and truly it depends on the full applicant pool. There's no real way to say, oh, if you tick all of these boxes, then you're for sure going to be accepted. We review all of the applications as one, and it's totally determined by the pool. The other question is, I'm not a Spanish major or minor. Am I still eligible to apply? Absolutely. If everybody were a Spanish major or minor, that would also not be great. Oh, Kimberly, question for you. What aspect of the coursework was most valuable to you?
To me, I think it was that for all three classes, they were very distinct compared to like the ones that they're offered at Northwestern. Like since Spanish is my first language, I was like in the top ones, like 302 and stuff like that. And I think it was like the type of vocabulary there I learned over there. Like over here, they teach you more like culture and like Spanish literature in the 1700s, 1800s. And over there is more really emphasis on like how to speak, not properly, but like more professionally, I would have to say. Because for me, it's like I know the Spanish at home, but like once I was there, I was like, oh man, like at this point, like I'm at level 0 because like I didn't know like those more specific words or like words to describe like emotions and stuff like that. Like I learned a lot from that. And I think that was more valuable to me because it's like now I can't just describe emotions like, oh, I'm sad, like in Spanish, or oh, I'm happy. Like there was more, I don't want to say bigger words, but like words that I just didn't even know existed. Like that was really valuable. And like for the other classes, you just learned like for the culture class that Elisa like teaches, like I just learned a lot about the Spanish culture and like what's like what basically how it is like living over there and like what's occurring, which was really interesting compared to just reading the history of the 1800s of Barcelona and how it got created and stuff like that. So it was really interesting. For my conversation class, it was that the topics were like super interesting. Like there was debates about class about what's better, Barcelona or Madrid. So like it got people like incorporated and stuff. But overall, I think all the professors was like the most valuable thing, that they were all like excited to teach, even if it was summer and they had family and stuff. Like they were all like there for us, like in whatever we needed.
Great. Thank you. That's super helpful. How many students typically apply? It really runs the gamut. So we have 30 spots. Last year we had about 45 or 50 applications, I believe. The year before we had something like 75 or 80. So a lot. There are always more applicants than there are spots. So this is a competitive program. But don't let that dissuade you from applying. Please still submit an application. You won't have a chance if you don't apply, right? So another question, are there options for students with dietary restrictions? Yes, you live in a residence hall. Each room has a little tiny kitchenette, so you are able to cook for yourself, and lots of vegetarian restaurants around as well. Gluten-free, vegan, whatever, all options. Kimberly, what was your experience like meeting locals, and have you made any connections that last to today?
That's a good question. I think I did meet a lot of people. Like every time we were out in museums or like anywhere in like outside of like school and stuff, I know that our group like tried being really like vocal and like using our experience to the fullest. So like I know we made friends in one of Noche de San Juan, which is like an event that you guys would be there during your like study abroad. I know we made friends from like, there was a student that was gonna be a freshman at UCLA that we became friends with, and like he was there alone. So I would say I think I still keep in contact with him here and there, but overall I think like I wasn't like the friendships and connections that I made, they were just like for the study abroad, just because like we're across like from the world, and like once you get busy, like you get busy. But I feel like everyone is friendly over there. For the most part, I don't think everyone is just like giving like mean faces or anything. I think everyone is really vocal, and as long as you try, like everyone's like, oh, I understand you, like I'll help you out and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, things we've heard from past students too. You have to be really intentional and kind of put yourself out there to meet locals. The program is super structured, and you're together with the Northwestern cohort most of the time, which is good because you're likely meeting students from across campus that you wouldn't otherwise meet, because you're in different schools, disciplines, years, and whatnot. So it can be a really neat way to meet others from Northwestern. But you do have to be really intentional about putting yourself out there if you want to meet local Spaniards. Is living arrangement roommate based? So as we put on the housing slide, this year we have 22 single rooms and 4 double rooms. So there will be 8 students essentially that have to share a room. Once you are accepted to the program and confirm your spot, you'll receive a housing questionnaire where we ask a bunch of questions about your living preferences and whether or not you're willing to live with a roommate. And if so, do you have anybody in mind? So if you end up going with a friend and you guys want to live together, that makes our lives easier in terms of placement, because not everybody can have a single, but most students will. And then Kimberly, what were some cultural challenges you experienced and how did you navigate them?
I think the only one that I could think of top of my head is that their lifestyle is completely different from the ones that we live here in the United States. Like, I know over here, like by 10, we're usually like on irregular, you know, we all don't go to sleep by 10, but for the most part, 10, 11, it's like, oh my God, it's time to go to bed. But for them, it's like 10, 11 is like the prime time, like to eat dinner, to like go out, enjoy the night. And like over there, they have a really strong emphasis, I would say, like gathering with friends after a long day or after a long week and stuff like that. So like their days like starts really late. And I think that was like the most challenging part, because it was like, first you have to catch up with the timing once you arrive, because it's like, it was such a big time difference. And it's like, so you're catching up on that. And then once you get used to it, it's like you go to class and then in the afternoon do some homework and relax, like decompress from the day. And then at night, it's like, you go to sleep by like 1 or 2 in the morning, because it's like you're having fun, people are interacting with one another and stuff like that. But I think that's like the only one. But how did I navigate it? I think I just got used to it. Like once you're there, you're just really excited to be there, like interact with the culture and the way that everyone is. Like you just get the hang of it. It might get tiring, I'm not gonna lie. Like I did get tired by like a couple weeks in, but like once you like rest it off and stuff, like you would just keep enjoying it, that you just like learn to navigate from it. For the question that says that, are the days typically structured by itineraries, or is there more unstructured time to explore and socialize? I would say it depends on the weekend. I know there's some weekends, like Elisa said, where you guys will not have like a structured like weekend of like going to museums and stuff. I know for us, when there was more unstructured like time, when we had like the weekend like to do nothing, some people plan to go out to other like places. Like I was able to I went to Pamplona to go see the bull ride, like the bull run and stuff like that. Not did I participate, but I want to go see it.
They're canceling this year. This summer is canceled.
Oh no, why?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
Don't put ideas in their heads.
They're gonna find out sooner than later.
It's gonna
Once
be
they
in
learn about
Zoom
the
this
culture.
summer. It's gonna see Raquel, I see you. It's gonna be in Zoom this summer.
But yeah, some students went to that. I had the opportunity to go to Paris with another student in the program. Other people went to Sevilla, and Amsterdam. Like you just like have the opportunity to do whatever. But I do recommend if you do plan like on traveling somewhere else, please plan it or have something like planned before you go. Because I know I went to Barcelona. I'm like, oh, let's see what people bring up, you know. But I was like, I know I truly want to go to Paris because it's already so close and stuff. But I ended up like just like dragging it on until I found someone at the very end that was like, oh my God, let's go to Paris. And I was like, oh my God, let's go. But I know some people went alone. It's scary if you like think about it going alone, but a lot of people like found it even fun. Like they met with other people that were in other study abroad programs. Like they met up in the same place and stuff. But there is like certain weekends where it is structured, where it's like you will meet Elisa to go to museums, to go to Montserrat, to go to Montjuic. But it's always fun time. Like I'm not gonna lie, you're always gonna have fun. It's tiring, don't get me wrong. Like when you like do the rock climbing, it's rough, but like it's all worth it.
What rock climbing?
Well, when we went to, was it Montjuic, where we go like take the train all the way up, and then we saw and then we went like
Montserrat. Yeah, that's it.
yeah, when you go to Montserrat, that they're gonna let you like explore the mountains, and we thought we were brave, so we went all the way to the top, which ended up really we were like dead by the end, but like it's worth it.
Yeah, in terms of like other class days, classes are held Monday through Thursday. You have every class every day. What does it go first?
10 to
Grammar?
4. Yeah,
10
grammar.
to 4. Yeah, grammar, culture,
30
and then
minutes,
conversation.
culture, 1 hour.
Yeah, and you have breaks in between. So it's a long class day. And then 1 or 2 days a week, you also have an excursion after class. So it is pretty structured, but as Kimberly was saying, Spanish socializing and life in general is very, very late. So I know students always talk about, yeah, you're done with class at 4, and then a lot of folks will go to the beach or go take a nap or do whatever, and then you basically have another whole day after 4 o'clock because everything is so late. So there is a lot of free time, and certainly much more free time than you're used to on campus, given all of your additional responsibilities, because those don't exist there.
Yeah,
right?
no clubs, nothing
Yeah,
like
there's
that.
no, it's just class.
I mean, the clubs are but different than
Yeah.
the ones here.
Exactly.
They serve alcohol. Not that you can drink, but or you will.
Yes, all of the question is, are some excursions like Sagrada Familia included in the program fee? Yes, any of the excursions that are required as part of the program are included in the cost of the program. There are certain other touristy experiences that are not included in the cost, but a lot of the things that you're going to want to do are included, including the weekend in Madrid. That's fully covered. Does the Sagrada Familia tour include the Nativity Tower tour?
Yes. Not with me, but yes. I don't like that, but yes, the students go up the tower and then down the tower.
Yeah, so what's included in Barcelona? Sagrada Familia, the hospital.
Right, the hospital, the Miró, Picasso, the modern art in Catalonia, not modern art, the Museo Catalunya, well, the Casa Batlló, that is very expensive because it's a private house. Maybe that.
I feel like there's one, Montserrat, Montjuic, right?
Yeah.
All of those.
Yeah, Sagrada Familia. Yeah. There's one every week. The first week is 2, and then the last week is none. But one week is 2.
Yeah, I would say like the other big thing that you're probably going to want to do is go to Park Güell, and that's not included, right? But buy your tickets ahead of time. Don't just show up and think you can get in. You will not.
What do you want students to take away from the program? Well, as much as they can, absolutely. I want them to learn about Spain. I want them to learn about Catalonia and the conflicts with Spain. And now it's a hot topic. Now today we have a new president. Well, the same president, but again, I want them to learn about themselves. I want them to make a lot of friends. I want them to learn to live on their own. I want them to learn to cook. So many things. Kimberly, what did you learn that you were not expecting, maybe?
I think learning
Or
how to
take
cook
away,
has to be
take
the
away.
main one. Well, I think the first one was like, I guess, like coming out of my comfort zone, because I did come in thinking that like it was gonna be all like fine, but obviously it does get like really stressful, and just like thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to Spain and like I'm not gonna find friends, or like it might not be for me and stuff. But like the most valuable thing was that 30 students might seem like a lot, like people that are going, but you guys are all close. Like by the end of the, like you guys at the end of the trip, like you guys are a family. Like everyone looks out for each other. Like everyone like texts like, oh, do you guys want to come here? Do you guys want to go out and stuff like that? So it's like, I think that's a one valuable thing that I learned, how to like be really social and put myself out there to like make friends, because I still talk to most of them, and when I see them on campus, it's like the fun, like we stare at each other and we just laugh because we're like, oh my God, we were in Barcelona this summer. So it's really incredible. I think another thing is that helped me now, because I live alone, is like having a single and like learning how to cook and going to, like grocery shopping, because your mom is not gonna like be on the phone with you, because like she's not gonna she's gonna like, tell you to survive and buy what you can. um but yeah, I think just like going grocery shopping, like learning how to navigate and like put yourself out like in the world, even if it's like scary sometimes to go out like in an unknown place. But like I know sometimes I was like, I don't want to go like places alone. But once I got comfortable with the setting that I was in, and I was there for like multiple like days, I was like able to go like for walks to the beach, like go to the store, like navigate myself around like the area that you live in. So it's just valuable. It's just everything, to be honest. I just can't even point out specifics. Like the classrooms are amazing, like the school setting is completely different from ours, so you just learn a lot, from academics to like individual stuff. You just learn a lot.
Rakin, I'll give you a phone with a SIM card. So you will have two phones. You will get Metro cards.
Yes, the question is, do program fees cover a SIM card and Metro cards? The answer is yes to both.
Yeah, and last summer our Metro was under construction for basically the whole program, and that was very annoying, terribly annoying. Kimberly's crying. That was so bad. But this summer it won't be. So everything is gonna be easier.
Right, because usually there's a stop that's really, really close to Vanessa, but
you can
not
go
last summer.
everywhere. Much easier.
Yes, it's right next. Like not, it's like a block or two. It's really, really close. But not last
navigation wise, like you have a lot to navigate around you. Like there's no way you just can't navigate, because there's just like buses around you, train stations, like just navigation wise, like you're set.
It's also like the neighborhood is also really walkable. You can walk a lot of places that you want to go. It's really easy to navigate from the dorm and from UPF.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's flat for the most part.
Not like Lisbon.
Oh my God, Lisbon. Wow, Lisbon in the summer, just
yeah,
too much.
Yeah, if anybody goes to Lisbon, watch out. It's real hilly.
And it's very hot. Oh, Barcelona
very
too. It's very hot. It's very hot. We didn't talk about that. Challenges.
Yeah. Challenges previous students have had, and how did they navigate them?
Well, when somebody steals your phone, that's a challenge, and then you tell your parents to send you a phone, and that's an even bigger challenge. So you can't do that. You have to learn how to live without a phone. That's very difficult. Using the Spanish phone.
Using the Spanish phone, right? I'd say budgeting is something that comes up a lot, and budgeting, especially in a foreign currency with an exchange rate that fluctuates. You know, a couple of summers ago, it was about a 1-to-1 conversion. So that was really easy. Not last summer. Last summer, it was what, like 106, 110.
But that's very good. It's been like 140 something.
Yeah. So it's still not bad, but it's not an even conversion. So budgeting in general, and I will say I am as an adult, I am also bad at budgeting. But it's really easy to get there and want to do all of the things right away, and then you run out of money halfway through the program. So I would say that's a really big one. cooking, right? Like part of budgeting is learning how to grocery shop and cook for yourself. It is much more cost effective than going out to eat every single meal. Some students still choose to go out to eat for every single meal, but that will add up even if you eat cheaply, which you can. So I would say learn how to cook basic foods, make a sandwich, boil some noodles, cook some eggs, right? Those are really easy things to learn. And then maybe once you're there, learn how to cook some Spanish food. You do take a cooking class, so you can
cooking class.
Learn some tips there. What else? I mean, navigating a big city, if you're not,
there is paella involved, of course.
It is paella.
Vegetarian and seafood.
Yeah. If you're not used to using public transportation or navigating a big city, that is a learning curve for sure, but it is super easy to learn and navigate Barcelona. I will say easier than navigating the L and the CTA here in Chicago if you ever come into the city.
And it's much cleaner, much better.
It is all of it is better than here. But those are all challenges. I mean, being in another culture, learning different customs, interacting with people in another language, like a lot of it can be challenging, but it'll also be things that will surprise you that are the challenges, right? Like sometimes you're going to be bored and that's okay.
Yeah.
So like learning how to deal with that and learning how to manage not every moment being the best moment of your whole life, right? So you will probably get sick because you're going to be tired, and when you're run down you get sick, so
you might get COVID even. Yeah, I got COVID last summer.
I think another challenge too that we faced as students, because we always wanted to be like jumping around out like and exploring, was the heat. Because like you're like they're gonna be really like have an emphasis on your pre-departure and everything, that like the heat is really dramatic over there. But I really didn't think much about it. I'm like, oh, we already have like large amount of heats here, so it's gonna be the same. But it's like 2 times worse over there. And sometimes it's just like you want to go out, but it's so draining because the sun is hitting you and it's just so humid and you're sweating all the time. So I think that was, the dorms do have AC, but like even once you step foot outside, like you're sweating immediately. Yeah. So it's like that was another challenge that we're like, so what do we do about this heat? And I know sometimes we'll be like, oh, well, we'll just wait for the sun to set. But sometimes the nights were so hot too that it's just like there's no way out of it. Like, you just gotta learn and like deal with it at points.
Yeah, it's toasty.
Take a lot of showers and you're always wet. Yeah. Always
Yes.
always sweating. That's good memories from the program. Well, Kimberly, do you have good memories? I have bad memories, so
there's too many good memories for me, because like for me it had to be that, okay, we did go out, we had fun, we went to discos, we we went out partying, and I think every like weekend or like once Thursday hit, because we would be done with classes, we would always try to make plans that Thursday immediately and be like, so what are we doing tonight? Are we going bar jumping? Are we going what are we doing? So I think it's every night is a long night and it's exhausting the next day because you're like sometimes waking up early. But I would say it's all the fun nights that you have with the group, because like all of us are fun. We all have our way of having fun. Another one was, mine had to be Elisa's class. Like every time you would go to Elisa's class, like it wasn't structured where it was like you're sitting there for like an hour and like just like learning all the time. But Elisa made it fun where like she was interacting with us in the beginning. She would be like, so what did you guys do last night? And then we would just talk about like what everyone did and the bad things that happened to us and how guys tried hitting on girls and stuff like that. So it was just like a fun class. But overall,
that's culture, the way men interact with women on the streets, right? The drunk guy you always met or something. Yeah, that's part of the culture, so we have to share.
Yeah. And then I think for one of the days, Elisa's nephew, right, was it Daniel?
Yeah,
he was able to go to Barcelona, and he was just teaching us like all the bad words that we were like,
right.
like the ways to interpret stuff. It was, I feel like memories, you're just gonna make a ton. Like it feels like 6 weeks are a little, but they're gonna go fast, but you're gonna make a ton of memories. But it's like by far like every day was just a memory, to be honest, because like Noche de San Juan was also like a memory that like people stayed up till like 7 in the morning. It was fun, but it was a long night.
For me, good memories are like the students that I know that met in the program and are married now, have kids. That's amazing. It's been a while, so Kimberly, I don't know. It's been a while. It's been
Too
a while.
late. I failed that test.
But that can happen after the program. It's happened.
True.
All right, what kind of safety protocols are in place to support students? A whole lot. So you all will be enrolled in GeoBlue International Health Insurance, so it's comprehensive insurance while you're in Barcelona or elsewhere. So you have access to medical care, to mental health care if you need it. Every summer somebody gets sick, multiple people get sick and have to get medicine or go to the doctor, and Elisa helps with that. Same thing if you need to continue therapy or start therapy while you're there, that's available to you. Elisa lives in the dorm with you 24/7, so there's always someone around. You have cell phones that are given to you by the program, so you should be reachable at all times. Elisa will be reachable at all times as well. And then any other support you'd receive at Northwestern. So yeah, I mean, we can't wrap you in a bubble and protect you like from getting things pickpocketed, but there's a lot of resources and support available if you need them. Are there students from other US universities living at the same dorm complex?
So there was a group, I don't remember, Kimberly, last summer there was a group of these teenagers that were always doing laundry and were being mean, and Danielle loved, what was happening with them. They were so annoying.
Yeah.
I
Well, for
complained
us, it was like,
them.
yeah, I don't know about other, I know when we were traveling to Barcelona, we were on the plane with other students that were also doing the Barcelona program, but from other like universities. But I don't know if we were specifically living with others. Maybe because I heard that other students that were sitting next to them, they had to find their own like living arrangements. Like they didn't have like a thing like settled like us. So maybe there was some, but I don't know if we met any specifically in Reza.
Some tourists over the summer, they rent some of the rooms for tourists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning, isn't there still some Spanish students there finishing up their exam?
The beginning and some, there's always students studying all night long. Because
I just want to flag that Katie just joined. Katie, do you want to unmute and introduce yourself? Thanks for coming. Kimberly's been taking all the questions.
She's been running the show.
Yeah. Hi. Okay. Yeah, I'm Katie. I'm a junior. I'm studying communication and I'm double minoring in business. And I picked up a Spanish minor over the summer because of the Barcelona program. I went this past summer. I had an absolutely amazing time. I'm eager to talk about it. Yeah, so I can answer some of the questions, I guess.
Let's see some of the student questions. What was the class one? Like, what did you like most about the classes, or what did you find most valuable about the courses that you took?
I thought that the classes were really okay. I thought that the classes were they were really fun. They were definitely like a lot more casual than the Northwestern classes, I think. Or I mean, I guess it depends on the Northwestern class. But it was like all of the professors, they were all like very young and very animated, and like I think like the value of like going to class was like you were hearing them like talk in Spanish, so you were getting like the language exposure, even if like the content itself like wasn't always necessarily like the most like like in terms of homework, you're doing maybe like an exercise or two a night, or you're like making a presentation. I think I like presented on the Barbie movie like in like two of my two different classes for two different reasons. But yeah, the classes were like they were very fun. Like you get to know your instructor, and like I remember like Monica was my conversation professor, and she was like I think only a couple years older than us, I think. I could be way off, but she like didn't like she didn't speak English like as well as the other professors, and she didn't like know like she just hadn't been around like as many Americans, I don't think either. So it was like fun like getting to know her, and then like also like teaching her things about what university is like in the US and like what it's like to live here too. It's like really cool.
Cool. What else? What were some cultural challenges you experienced and how did you navigate them?
Okay, and Kim, if you have anything to say, jump in. But I think because for me, like I'd never been to Europe before. Like really, like I had not like traveled abroad very often before that. And so like I think there were definitely like a lot of cultural differences. Like, and also for me, it was like how it felt to be the American in the room. Like people would just be like, oh, like they're like here they come. Like they would clock like me and my friend just immediately as American. Like we wouldn't even be talking and they would know. Um, and so I think like the biggest culture shock was just kind of being like being an American abroad, and then also like little things like the dinner is really late, like the grocery stores are a little different. Like you can't get water anywhere, but like you can like I remember at the university it was like you can get like because there's a cafe there and you can get like the lunch combo and it would be like a main plate, like a side, and then a drink, and the drink options and they all cost the same. It was like a bottle of water, a bottle of juice, like a glass of wine, and a bottle of beer. And I was like, that's like the fact that the water cost the same as the wine was crazy to me. But yeah.
What else? Anything else you want to say about anything?
I mean, I highly, highly recommend the program. It's like super organized, and I like the Northwestern programs because like you don't like you just kind of like you're just working with Glow to figure things out. And so you're not like working with like lots of different like organizations like trying to figure out like, oh, how am I gonna like function in this in this country while I'm abroad and like supposedly and like paying all this money to be here. So I think it's definitely very nice to like do a Northwestern program, and like this program was like extremely fun. Like at times it felt like summer camp, but like in an amazing way. Um, and like I like learned so much, and like got like to make like really good friends and things like that. So you're allowed to go anywhere you want, I think.
What
You
is,
must
what
go to
is,
Pacha, then
what
go
is that?
ahead.
What is
Huh?
it?
Pacha
I
is
don't-
the discoteca, what they call club, that not club. Yeah, it's a club
Yeah.
in Barcelona by the beach.
No one's telling you can't go to anywhere.
You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
You are
Me and
It was-
free.
Katie,
it was-
obviously, me and Katie stayed in our dorms, you know, we didn't go out. Like, why
No,
would
I
we?
mean, yeah, like in bed, like by 8 p.m. Like I wouldn't even stay up for dinner or anything. Like
Yes, there is no restriction on travel or other
Clubbing.
extracurricular activities. All that we ask is that you make good choices and decisions. Don't put yourself in active danger, and maybe make responsible choices around alcohol if you choose to partake. You will know that Spanish culture is not one of binge drinking. It's of having a couple of drinks with a meal and friends as part of socialization, but it is not like ripping shots at clubs. So
Like Katie said, you can have beer at the university's cafeteria with lunch or without, right?
yeah, I remember one of my professors, she was like setting up the expectations, and she was like, I'm like for the class, and she was like, I know that like our class meets right after lunch, but she was like, but please don't show up drunk. like she was like, if you want to have a glass of wine or like a bottle of beer like for lunch, that's fine. But like make sure you're able to conduct yourself in class. I was like, that's a crazy. She was like, don't be drunk for class. And I was like, do people show up drunk to class here? Like that's
And in their
Well,
swings.
I
Yeah.
mean, and we haven't really had to talk about it that much recently, but several years ago, we had some issues with students showing up to class and excursions and programmed meals extremely intoxicated. So I would say also don't do that. But yeah, if you want to go to a club, you want to go to Ibiza, you want to go wherever, go ahead. But be responsible about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
I would also say, and I know Kim, you like went a couple of places, and Katie, you can talk if you traveled at all. Like 6 weeks is going to go by really quickly. So while it is extremely enticing to go hop around Europe and go all of the places, like save that until the end, right? Like try to get to know other places in Spain, travel a little bit outside of Barcelona. I know that historically students have gone to Sitges and like places nearby that are really cool. So try to spend time in Spain during the program and then save your other travels for after, when you can spend more than like 48 hours somewhere.
Mhm.
And a lot of students do stay and do that because the program's over end of July. So like go be free in Europe.
Yeah, Kimberly, didn't you go to San Sebastian and the Basque Country also
I went, yeah. Dang,
when
where
you
did I-
guys went to Pamplona?
You mean the
We
best
went-
place on earth? Yes.
Right.
I
exactly.
didn't go, and I regret that so much. I
See?
really wish
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
don't be
so-
like me. If everyone decides to go to San Sebastian, you have to go too.
Yes, yes.
Because
It
it's
was-
the
it
best
was-
The
place-
Basque Country, so you must go.
yeah, it's
we
the best
went
place on earth.
we went from Pamplona, yeah, because we went from Pamplona, and then the next day we were in San Sebastian. So yeah, San Sebastian is really beautiful. Oh my God, the beaches are insane. But I also recommend Costa Brava. It's not a far place to go to, and like I regret not going there because I was seeing pictures and I was like, dang, man. But yes, enjoy if you feel up for it, like close by play, like close to Barcelona and stuff like that is really worth it. Like I would say more like long distance. Like I would say just plan it out as soon as you get to Barcelona, or like before like you get there, just so you have an idea of like how your weekends are gonna look like and stuff like that. But yeah, where did you go, Katie? Did you go to Sevilla, or where did you go?
No, so I got there a week early and was in Lisbon for a week. So I didn't travel after the program. So that was cool. And then I went to Valencia, was kind of like my friends and I's like big thing. We got locked out of our Airbnb at like we got back to our Airbnb at 3 a.m. The key is not like turning or anything. And we like really sat out there on the street for an hour until this like group of like we were kind of like in a university area, like was where our Airbnb was in Valencia. And this group of like Spanish students, like about our age, like walked by. They heard us like laughing because at that point we were like hysterical. We were like, "What are we gonna do?" like, and they like scaled the walls of the Airbnb and like got in through like the balcony and then like let us in.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have lots of fun adventures, like getting locked out of your Airbnb at 3 a.m. But it was really funny in the end, and everything worked out. So
And nobody died. Yeah.
and no one died. No one died. Did anyone get their phone stolen?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mary.
Mary.
We were so close to being that one group
So
that didn't
close.
get nothing stolen. And then it
Yeah.
was towards the end.
I was so confident in us too.
Yeah.
Okay, we had a good run.
Some year it's gonna happen. I feel it.
Maybe this year.
All right, I want to be mindful of time. So any last questions, any last thoughts, Katie or Kim?
Just that it's a fun program and that you should
Mhm.
you should do it. It's a great way to spend your summer.
And if you guys want to reach out or have any other questions about the program before applying and stuff, like we could drop our emails if you guys want, and like
sure.
you guys could ask any questions.
Yeah. And the same with me. You can send me an email.
Yep. Awesome. So reminder, applications are due February 1st. That is an absolutely hard deadline. There will be no extensions. So my recommendation is to get those in sometime in January, just so you don't miss the deadline or run into any technical issues. You also need a signature from your school advisor. So if you haven't already had a discussion with them about your plans to study abroad, do that now or schedule an appointment for when you come back from winter break. So you don't try to request an appointment the day before the deadline, because that's
Because
not
if
very
you are doing that, 200 other students are doing
exactly.
it.
So don't do that. Don't be rude.
Mhm.
If you have questions about the application process, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Carmen. We are happy to answer those questions. If you are interested in advising, you can schedule an appointment with Carmen as well. She's happy to talk to you about this program or other programs in the Spanish-speaking world, or options to do this program and another program. So yeah, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Katie and Kim, for coming. It's so valuable to have your perspective.
Yes.
You're able to answer stuff in a way that Elisa and I can't, because we're both
Never been to Pacha, so what can I say?
exactly. I didn't even know what it was.
Right. I know what it is, but I've never been that.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you all so much, and be in touch with any questions.